YouTube, what's happening? 6-1 day yesterday, almost a perfect sweep. If Philly didn't choke away the lead after getting it back in the eighth, it would have been a 7-0. I could have broke out the broom. But the best call, since the upset in the Dodgers at minus 325 was the Dodgers. I called the Reds to just win because I said, quote, they're playing better right now. And they showed that last night. LA de la MVP, I don't care. Dude was awesome yesterday. Anyways, today we got 15 games. Today's the 17th. There's so much to talk about. Drop a subscribe, drop a like, and let's get into today's games. First game, Pirates and Cubs, 2:20 Eastern first pitch. Thankfully, the only day game today. We got Skeens in his second major league start going up against Hendricks, not his second start with his 10.0 ERA. Skeens with a 6.75. He gave up a home run early and then he let a couple base runners in the fifth. Outside of that, for his major league debut, you got to say he pitched pretty good. 7 strikeouts against this same lineup. Today, it is this flip the venue. We're in Chicago, and right now, it is a pick 'em across the board when it comes to money line. 7.5 is the over-under with a little bit of juice on the under. I'm currently leaning the over a little bit, mainly because what happened after Skeens left last week, the Pittsburgh bullpen went out there and played softball, just lobbing up pitches. It ended up 10-9 final. We know Pittsburgh's bullpen's not that good. And Hendricks, you can see the ERA. It's been 26 innings. How much better are you going to get? We know he's not that good either. I don't expect him to pitch a gem, and I don't expect Skeens to go more than 5 or 6 innings. Second time around, pitcher gets to see the batter. Batters tend to have an advantage historically in this one. I would lean the over. I also would lean Skeens' strikeouts. He got 7 against this lineup, and he might get to pitch a little bit more, might be a little more loose now. 6.5 is a line with a little bit of juice the under, but definitely in the over in this one. It's at a pick a money line. I don't know who's going to win this one. I don't want to mess with it. Just give me some runs and let's have some fun. All right, second game. We got the Nationals and the Phillies. The Phillies ruined the streak yesterday. We were 6-1. The one was the Phillies because they choked away the lead in the eighth. After regaining the lead, it happens. It's baseball. You move on. A 1-run loss in the 11th. What can you do? 6-1. Great day. Today you got the Nationals with Jake Irving with his 3.55 against Wheeler with his 2.53. Right now, the Phillies are a minus 300. We saw that one yesterday, aka the Dodgers. Over under is at 7.5. Little bit of juice on the under is at minus 120. This one, if you look at the statistics, it is extremes here. The Phillies are on batting average, they're batting 242, which is only 11th, which is not, that's okay. It's not great. But then you got the Nationals, who are dead last over the last week. They're batting a miserable 169. That is terrible. They've scored 10 runs in their last 5 games. They're averaging 2 runs a game. Now they get to face the Phillies, who in their last few games, they lead the majors. They've scored 38 runs in their last 6 games. They are crushing runs across the plate, and the Nationals are struggling. This one, the over could hit. The Phillies could do it themselves. I don't doubt that at all. But with these two pitchers, Wheeler could pitch a gem. It could be 5-0. I don't trust that at all. I'm going to lean the Phillies money line in the parlay. I don't like putting 300s in there, but I don't see how the Nationals win this game. Let's be honest. Look at the numbers. It doesn't add up. And we do statistical based betting here. We don't go off vibes and feelings. It's all statistics here, numbers. I'm going to take the Phillies money line, and I'm going to take the Phillies run line as well at minus 1.5. All right, next game, we got the White Sox and the Yankees. We got Clevenger going out there with a 5.4 ERA, his second game of the season against nasty Nestor Cortez with his 4.03. Pitching pretty well. That K to walk ratio is pretty nice overall. Currently, the line is inflated just like the last game. We are sitting at 275 of the Yankees, over under 7.5 with a pick 'em either way on that one. With this one, I am leaning Yankees are going to go in a moneyline parlay. It's going to be one of those days where the home team's a heavy favor. I'm going to throw them in parlays to see what happens. I'm also going to take the Yankees minus 1.5, mainly because the Yankees are currently sitting middle of the pack when it comes to, no, they're 6 overall when it comes to batting average over the last week at 287. The White Sox, they're batting pretty well. They're sitting at 9th. The only issue is they can't score runs. They might get people on base, but they just aren't scoring runs because the White Sox are 26 in the majors over the last week, scoring runs. 12 runs in 5 games ain't going to cut it, especially against the powerhouse team that the Yankees are when they want to be. So for this one, I'm going to take the Yankees 1.5, throw the money line in a parlay, and move on to the next game. Our next game, we got Seattle and Baltimore. We got Bryce Miller going out, who's 2.66 for the Mariners, and it's not updated on the score app, but according to ESPN, it looks like Irving is going out with his 2.90 ERA. Right at this moment, the Orioles are a 135 favorite on the money line. The over/under is 8.5 with some pretty decent juice on the under at 125. This one, I'm leaning the under mainly because Seattle and Baltimore are not doing that well when it comes to scoring runs. Seattle is 10th in batting average at 242 over the last week, while Baltimore is sitting over here at 18th at 226. The only issue is you look at the run column, Baltimore is third to last. They are 28th. They're scored 12 runs in 4 games, and Seattle is down here at 16th. And they've only scored 21 runs in 5 games. You add those together, you don't get close to 8.5. And you got 2 pitchers which have been out here enough innings. They don't give up many runs. I lean the under. 125 some juice. I think I'm going to drink it. So we're going to take the under. I'm not going to mess with the size and move on to the next one. All right, next game, we got Tampa Bay at Toronto. We get Alexander with his 5.45 against Basso, his 5.06. Add those together, you get 10, which is pretty much my line to take an over. However, currently the money line is sitting at 170 for Toronto with an over/under of 8.5 with some juice on the under of all things. That confused me a little bit, so I dug into the stats. If you look at the batting average for both teams over the last week, they're both sitting in the middle of the pack at 14th at 233 overall, both of them. The main difference here is if you go to runs, Tampa Bay is second in the majors over the last week. They scored 33 runs in 6 games. They are putting people across the plate. The dudes are getting it done. However, Toronto, on bottom 10, they're 22nd, 16 runs over 4 games, which is still 4 runs a game, but it's not the pace that Tampa Bay's doing. Overall, I'm leaning the over for that plus money, and I'm also leaning Tampa money line because I don't know why Toronto's such a big favorite, because Bassett, his ERA is pretty close to Alexander. They both pitched right about 40 innings. I don't see really what the difference is. Unless somebody made massives out for Tampa I don't know about. That could be a thing, but I'm going to lean Tampa on the money line. Might sprinkle that a little bit, and definitely going to take the over 8.5 in this one. We got the Mets and the Marlins, game of the day, right? We have Scott with his 2.84, only over 12 innings, and we got Luzardo with almost 6 over 31 innings going out there. Currently, the Mets are a 120 favorite on the money line. The over/under is at 7.5, a little bit of juice on the under. Look, I'll be real with this one. With the way the Mets are batting, including last night's win over Philly, they are still batting in the bottom 4 when it comes to batting average over last week. They're sitting at 197 over the past week. That's terrible. That's not going to get it done. Miami's not too much better. They're 15th. They're at 232. But for Miami, hey, that's pretty good. They're on fire, essentially. Now, we know the Mets just finished playing Philly. Philly is probably one of the top 2 teams, if not number 1, in the majors right now. So this is going to be a complete change of difference. I lean the Mets, but I'm not going to play it. It's a fade to Miami more than anything. But since the Mets are batting so poorly, including last night's game, the numbers don't. I'm statistical based. We look at numbers, and the Mets might win this game. They might win it easily, but with the way the numbers are, I would not be surprised if this was like a 1-0 game and the Marlins somehow pulled it off, same like they did over Detroit the last couple games. So this is going to be a pass, and we'll move on. All right, we got Minnesota and Cleveland. We got Richardson with his 3.24 ERA against McKenzie 3.54. Currently on the odds, we have the Guardians as a slight favorite at 120, over under 8.5, with a little bit of juice on the under at 120. This one, the main thing that stands out here is both teams are struggling to hit the ball. Remember when I just said that Washington was at 169, they were the worst? Well, these 2 teams are the next 2 worst. Minnesota's at 195 average, Cleveland's 196 average over the last week. Both these teams are struggling to hit the ball. Cleveland is getting a little more run support though. They do have 22 runs over the last 5 games, while Minnesota only has 14. However, those 2, if you can't hit the ball, it's really hard to score. I know McKenzie gives up a lot of walks, so you would lean towards Minnesota in this one. But with those averages, I just can't I don't trust the side of either one. This seems like a game's going to finish 2-1, 3-2, something stupid low. I'm going to take the under in this one at 8.5 and eat that juice at 120. So under, nothing on the side. Move on to the next one. All right, next up, we got San Diego and Atlanta. We got Waldron, his 5.49 going up against Freed with his 3.57 ERA. Currently, the Braves are sitting at a 2.25 favorite on the money line. Pretty heavy favorite. Over under is at 8.5, a little bit of juice on the under. I'm leaning under in this one, and here's why. You look at the stats, you look at the team names, you think, oh, they're going to be some high, they got the stats, they got the bats, they can do this. The stats don't line up for them. The Padres are 23rd in the past week when it comes to batting average. They're batting 215. It's not that good. The Braves are 8th. They're batting 245. However, the issue is neither team can get runs across the plate. The Braves have 17 runs in their last 5 games. That's a little over 3 runs a game. And San Diego is even worse. They're 11 runs in 5 games. That's only 2 runs a game. However, I don't trust either one. Both these teams have the offense. We've seen it before. These teams are on a little bit of a cold streak. They could snap at any time. All you need is one to snap, especially with pitchers with high ERAs. It could happen. I don't trust the over-under in this one. I do lean the Braves in this one just because Freed's a better pitcher than Waldron. I mean, come on. It's not that hard to figure out, but I lean Freed. I lean the money line. I don't think I will take the Braves on a 1.5, but I think I will put the Braves in the money line parlay and move on to the next game. Our next game, we got Oakland and Kansas City. Reagan's is pitching for Kansas City. We know that. Oakland, they have not announced who's going to be pitching for the game to them. For this one, there may be odds out, but if I don't know who's pitching, I can't do stats and I can't look at numbers, and that doesn't help me at all. So this one's going to be a pass, and we're going to move on to the next one. All right, next up, we got the Angels and the Rangers. We got Anderson with his 2.92 going up against Haney with his 4.39 ERA. Currently, the Rangers are a 175 favorite on the money line. The over-under is 8.5 with some heavy juice to the over of all things. The main thing I'm looking at in this one is we're looking at stats. We're looking at the average. It looks like Texas is struggling in the past week. They were 24th in the majors, only batting 215. However, the Angels are sitting high up here at number 3 in the majors, batting 290 as a team over the past week. We'd love to see that. That doesn't make sense with the money line. Runs, Angels 29 runs in 5 games, almost 6 runs a game. Meanwhile, Texas is at 12 runs over the last 5. I'm leaning the Angels on a money line here. I know it's a plus, pretty decent favor, but I think I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the Angels. I don't like the over-under in this one because Texas has been pretty cold according to the stats. Angels have been pretty warm. I'm going to lean the Angels money line, put a little sprinkle on that one, and move on to the next one. All right, next up, Brewers and Astros. Peralta with his 3.63 and Brown with his 7.79. Currently, they are sitting at a pick'em on the money line with an over-under of 8.5, a little bit of juice on the under. Looking at the stats, Houston is 4th in batting average at 289, and Brewers are 5th at 288 over the last week. Both of them, dudes are putting bats on balls. It's happening, and they're scoring runs on top of it. 33 runs for the Astros over 6 games. Brewers 28 runs over 5 games. They're both getting it done. I am taking the over in this one for sure. However, when we move over to the money line side, it's a pick'em for a reason. I don't see why. Peralta's a better pitcher than Brown. We can see that. Brewers have a better team. It's a pick'em. The numbers line up. I'm gonna put a little bit on Milwaukee to win the game outright. So Milwaukee win over 8.5, and we're going to move on to the next one. All right, next up, we got Boston and St. Louis. We got Bello with his 3.13 and Gibson with his 3.67 going up against each other. Currently, the Red Sox are a slight favorite on the money line. Over under 7.5 with a lot of juice on the over in this one. The main thing that stands out, St. Louis is 2nd in the majors over the last week when it comes to batting. They're batting 292, getting it done. Bats on balls. They've got 26 runs in 5 games, so they're scoring 5 runs a game. Boston, however, is a lot different. They're number 20. They're 221 average. They've scored 23 runs in 6 games. A little bit under a 4 average. So you put those together, you hit the over. If it's only 7.5, that's pretty nice. I'm probably going to lean that because 2 pitchers batting 3 ERA. I like the over in this one. Sidewise, just going based on statistics with St. Louis batting so well, I lean St. Louis on the money line as well. So we're going to take the over and lean St. Louis, maybe a sprinkle on the money line for them. Next game. All right, we got the Tigers and the Diamondbacks. We got Scooball with his 2 ERA against Nelson with his 5.33 ERA. Currently, the Tigers are 145 on the money line. This may because Scooball's pitching. Over under is 8.5, with a good bit of juice on the under at 8.5. If you look at the averages, Detroit is currently 22nd in average at 216, while Arizona is 17th at 228. Both of them bottom half in the majors in batting. Not a good sign for the over. When it comes to the run side, Detroit is 17 runs in 5 games, a little over 3 runs a game. Arizona's 23 runs, a little over 4 runs a game. So that's 7 if you add them up together. We know Scooball is a beast. 60 Ks, only 8 walks. Dude's a monster. 5-0. I don't see how he doesn't end up 6-0 today. Arizona, Ryan, 5.33 ERA is a lot. I'm going to take Detroit on the money line to get the win, and I might even sprinkle a little bit on the under of 8.5 as well at that juice. All right, next game, we got the Reds and the Dodgers. What a beautiful call yesterday. Statistics proved right. Cincinnati not only won the game, they dominated the game. Now, today we have Montas at his 4.20 ERA, funny number, going up against Paxton in his 2.58 ERA. Dodgers only a 240 on the money line right now, with 8.5 is the total, with a little bit of juice on the over. Now, we know the stats from yesterday. We know the Reds are batting better. The Reds are at 268 on the average right now, at 7th in the majors, while the Dodgers are coming in at 25th, only batting 215. Not that good. Run-wise, both teams are scoring about 4 runs a game. This one, even though the stats say Cincy, I don't like the pitching matchup because Montez with his 420, he likes to, I just don't like that at all. Paxton walks more people than he strikes out, which is quite hilarious. Anything could happen in this game. It's Friday night, different vibe. They Dodgers lost to the Reds. This is gonna be one of those ones I don't have a vibe, a feel anything on this one, so I'm just going to pass on this one completely. All right, last game, we got the Rockies and the Giants. How are the Rockies on fire, just destroying everybody? They're on, what, a 7 or 8 game winning streak now? But that was a great call 2 nights ago on them. It was beautiful. Today, we have Feltner with a 5.20 ERA going against Harrison and his 3.42 ERA. Currently, the Giants are a 165 on the money line with an over-under of 7.5, a little bit of juice on the under. Currently, for the last 7 games, as the story gets told over and over again, the Rockies are dominating when it comes to batting. They're batting 295 average. They've scored 30 runs in 5 games, which is 6 runs a game. The Giants are not doing so hot themselves. They're 19th in batting average at 225, only scoring 4 runs a game themselves. This one, with Rockison and Feltner with a 5.20 average out there, and Harrison 3.42, but the averages are there. If anything, I'm leaning over in this one. 7.5 seems low in this game. I think that both teams should be able to. We know the Rockies are going to get the hits. They're on fire. You ride the streak. So I'm going to lean the over in this one and leave the sides alone. 15 games broken down Friday. Lots of baseball to go over. Went over all of it. Lots of plays, actually. I'm surprised I got so many plays. Drop a subscribe, drop a like, comment which ones you think I'm wrong on, or tell me if I missed any, because there might be some news that I'm missing out on some of these. But either way, baseball's good. It's Friday. The weekend's here. Let's get into it. Peace.